Well, I started thinking about this book when America invaded Iraq in March of 2003, and the way in which the protests were going on and the sort of dedication to going to war, the patriotic issues that were put forward, it all sort of resonated with me. And I thought, when has this happened before? When did America have the first time to do an elective foreign war? And I kept thinking about the First World War, and I knew that the centennial was coming up and that this would be a really good time to explore how the war intensity of that day, 2003, 2004, was really recapitulating energies that had started a century earlier. In American art, the received wisdom is that World War I had very little effect on American art and American artists because the United States was in the war for only 17 months, and not that many people died relative to the number of people, the deaths of the various European countries, the combatant nations, where Russians or Germans lost 1.7 million and Americans lost 117,000. So the received wisdom is that the war just did not have that much effect on American art. I thought that couldn't be. If we're living through a major war, all of us are affected by that, including artists. So it's worth going back to look at the artists, the well-known artists and lesser-known artists of the time, to see how they were somehow processing the war. I call the book Grand Illusions in reference to Jean Renoir's great anti-war film, The Grand Illusion, La Grande Illusion, from 1937, which has always been understood as one of the most important texts, visual texts against war. And in fact, when the Germans invaded, occupied Paris, they found every print of the film they could find and burned it because they found it its peace message so antithetical to their beliefs. So I'd always loved that film, and the filmmaker Renoir was a great inspiration to me. So when I wrote this book, I was thinking about, in the various ways that artists can work, they create illusions, and illusions are not always bad. Artistic illusions can be good things too. That's why we go to art museums, or why we look at art, why we read fiction and go to movies. So I'm not anti-illusion, but sometimes illusions can help us see the world more clearly, and sometimes illusions can distort the world for us. And that's what I was trying to examine in the book. Picasso said, art is a lie that tells the truth. And I wanted to see in what ways were artists using illusions of the skills they had, the abilities to put forward as artists. How were those illusions leading toward greater progressive attitudes about war, about gender, about class relations and race relations, and how are they being used in other directions to be more stultifying and anti-progressive?